Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Gewaldig. Check this picture out. Dov Eisenberger. Rebelli, my wife, Rachel, wanted to start our first anicle off on the right derech and surprise us with this really cool onesie. There's always time for the daf, even between bottle feedings and diaper changes. Your Talmud and Chassid, Dov Eisenberger, and your newest and maybe youngest Talmud and Chassid, Shua Jerome. It's geschmack to the daf. The grandfather's wearing the hat. It's gewaldig. Now on our merch site. What?
The baby.
Before we get into this, Avremi, in the other, I guess it's the other daf, if you could pull out the Reb Ari Ben Shushan's video. I thought it was here. It's the wrong daf. No, which one? Oh, the one with the wine I played already? Okay, so yeah, good. So forget it. Yishkoyach. This is I learned something about sensitivity. Thanks so much for your daily share. Thanks for the opportunity. If I may bring this comment, a group of my friends discussed the Mrs. Potato Head cartoon, and we all felt that it was a little inappropriate and insensitive to all types of people. It doesn't bring people closer to the shir. Thanks for understanding. Good Shabbos, Moshe Weingarten. So I had no idea, but they explained it to me. Now I chop a little bit more. I thought it brings a lot of people closer to the shir, which it does, but some people, it's merachik. So
how many emails did you get?
I got a lot.
Like this one?
Yeah, here's another one. Rebelli and the esteemed team, images of pregnant women and childbirth, etc. You have a large base of devout viewers, including young men and children in our community. This is a closed and taboo subject. Pregnancy. They call pregnancy something else. They say a woman is in a matzav. They don't say she's pregnant. That's what they explain to me. I don't know. I didn't know. I'm learning every day. All of you are learning with us.
If it's a ruchnistic thing, then it's a good time.
In our community, there's a closed and taboo subject that is not discussed, certainly not with such images. Even though it's a potato, such images, we kindly request that you remove this content from the platform out of the modesty and sensitivity to certain audiences, and to please be mindful of this in the future. This is a serious comment, not intended to be shared publicly, but purely for the sake of addressing the issue, with appreciation and admiration for all that you do. Yesterday,
people voted for Biden.
I know, but I'm sensitive to that too. I purposely don't go and talk about Democrats and Republicans because we do have many Democrats that watch the share. So, no, we have to be mindful for all types of people. If especially that we have a lot of Hasidim, and there's a lot of Hasidim that are makbid on these things. So that's why you'll notice a lot of our people wonder, like, why are you blurring out faces of cartoons or whatever? Sometimes we blur it out. Yesterday, we had a nice cartoon, like a video. And before the shir, I asked the Yerushalmi here if I could show it. He said, no, you can't show it. But then I showed it after shir, and the whole shir said, no, you could show it. Fine, just show it to the Americans, whatever. So we'll show it. But different people have different things. I don't know. What? The potato, because it's pregnancy, so they told me I gotta be careful with. But otherwise, we could show stuff. Eli Victor learning the daf. I mean, the Gemara talks about pregnancy. I say the word pregnant 100 times, and he said the same. Kids are watching. I don't. What? So they don't learn that part. They don't learn that part. What are you gonna do? Eli Victor learning the daf. Right. It says it in the Torah, but you don't have to depict it in a picture. Eli Victor learning the daf with his 2-year-old nephew. Did I show this? Showed it.
Yeah.
It's kedai to show twice. I don't know. It's a few days later, so I'm going to read this. A Talmud of Yeshir since the beginning of Bava Basra. Yeshir is keeping me on track, learning Torah every day. Reb Nachman, you're going to love this. Regarding this morning's shir and the joke that was made that didn't go down well in this case, to watch you have the strength and turn around away from the joke, miyad, at the same time, continue giving the shir to a big crowd and the responsibility it comes with, but also not forgetting that someone was hurt, your sensitivity to others, and how you handle situations was special to see. For him. Really?
Yeah. It was very hard for you. You threw you off your game completely.
Threw me off for over a day.
Completely. And you just kept on going.
What am I going to do?
Nope.
Stop? To watch how it all unfolded was not geschmack, and I was thinking of you then and now. Thank you for everything. It's a very nice email. Thank you for everything, your Torah, your jokes, and most of all the midas, sensitivity. Teach by example. Bracha, good Shabbos, Chaim, Treuhaft. This we did already. Okay, so we're just going to jump in because we have a huge deficit. We weren't able to finish the daf yesterday. The Israelis were coming in and they were pushing in. We weren't even that much overtime, but it was a long daf yesterday and a long daf today, and I'm hoping that I could get somewhere today. But if not, we have some shorter daf coming up on Tuesday, Wednesday. The Masech is sponsored for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnassa B'revach and Yosef. Parnassa Kidnovations LLC, my uncle Rebbitzen Stefansky Pressman, the Fishel should be a zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fayga, shidduch for Yehudit Chaya. A thank you to Rebbitzen Stefansky for selflessly giving up her husband for the klal. Should be a zechus for a year filled with Mazel, Bracha, hatzlacha, Parnassa B'revach and Refuah. Rabbi say unbelievable news for us. Over 75% of the rooms are already sold, and they are going nicely. And Be'ezer Hashem, we will be sold out this year without any issues. Without a lot of people are asking for discounts, and I said from day one, we would love to give discounts. The room, it cost us over $1,000 a person. We lose money on every single person, and we're trying not to come out. That's why the sponsors are just for the basic; they're not to sponsor people. So there were a few people that asked us if they could sponsor some people specifically. And obviously, if somebody wants to sponsor, you always have a tzaddik that sponsors. We had people that sponsored that 16-year-old that became from, things like that. If somebody has a specific thing or wants to, let's say, give $2,000 for, we could divide it, give breaks for certain people, or tell us how you want to do it. But we're getting literally on the hour another email. Could I have a discount? Could I have a free room? I really love it. I can't afford it. Da, 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 da. Meanwhile, we're trying to keep the costs as low as possible. We even have people that work for us in MDY, and we're not really paying for people to come, tickets and rooms and that sort of thing. We want to keep the costs as low as possible. So thank you for the understanding. But chaper in your room. The Parnassa Chodesh, Yosef ben Chaya, Sara for Parnassa B'revach. Parnassa Chodesh, Tzvi Spero, Refuah Shleimah for Itamar Efraim ben Chai Blima. Refuah, the Parnassa Shavua. Refuah Shleimah for Yosef Chaim Shmuel ben Aldanachama from his grateful family. Refuah Shleimah. Avigar Gir is having surgery today, so he's not here. He's going to surgery. He should have a Refuah Shleimah. Akiva Rudner, he had a lot of pain, like some stomach issue. I forgot what it was, like the spleen. I don't know what, something. Gallbladder. You should have a Refuah Shleimah. You should see him soon. Parnassa Yomi, Akiva Rudner, L'zeichen Nishmas, Shragat Tzvi ben Shleimah Koyin, zechus Bracha. The art of the month is zechus for rebellion, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Chaya. Did we do the mission last night? We went fast through it. So we could go through it real quickly. Why not? If we're ready. So this is it's a fascinating sugya that applies here in Eretz Yisrael more than in America or in other countries. And the more we discussed it during the Hebrew Shir, the more I got to know a lot of different stuff. It's called Shishvinus, and that is. For instance, there was a guy here in the Shir that he was in Koilel with the Sephardi, and the Sephardi invited him to his son's bris. He went to the bris, and the guy comes back after the bris to the Koilel, and he's not speaking to him. He didn't speak to him for a year because he didn't give him a gift. It's a very serious issue with them. They expect, and it's a Gemara, it's a Mishnah. They go like the Mishnah. If you come to a Simcha, you're expected to give X amount. If you come to a chasana, serious money. Here, I translated it in English. Where was this? There's like a real thing here. It's not a joke. Here, in general, this is the thing. In general, in the secular community, if you go to a wedding, you're expected to give anywhere between 600 and 800 shekel per person. So if you go as a couple, you give 1,600 shekel. Yeah, really. And then it keeps on going, that if you live... the national religious community that live in the central areas like Gush Dan, they give 700 to 1,000. The ultra-Orthodox community is lower, between 400 and 500. Kitzer, or less even. It depends on what community. So if you go to now, if you tell a person, if you tell a Sephardi that you're going to his wedding and he calls the caterer and he even if you don't show up to the wedding, you have to send him that 1,600 shekel. If not, you're in big trouble. As we're going to go see in the Gemara that if you give somebody a gift at a wedding, you must reciprocate, and if you don't, you can go to Bezdin and take it out in Bezdin. The Gemara. This is not. So this is an older minhag. The Ashkenazim, we went off the derech a little bit, and a lot of Sfardim are becoming Ashkenazi these days. They go to weddings. No, I'm Ashkenazi. I don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. But that's how it is. Now, because the ultra-Orthodox communities, there's 4 or 5 weddings a week, so they don't expect you to give 1,000 shekel to each thing. So it's a little, and the weddings cost less. It says over here, whole explanation. It goes by the amount. Now, if you go to a wedding, it's really, really fancy, you're expected to give more. The people know how much is a meal. It's 700 shekel, minimum. That's how it goes. So says the Mishnah that if a father, Yaakov, sends his son Reuven to a wedding and says, go and give them a check, and then Reuven gets married, he didn't pay for it. His father Yaakov gave him the check, and Yaakov dies. Now, he's supposed to get a check back. Now, the Mishnah says he doesn't really get the check because his father gave the check. So it's really the whole estate that shares in the check. The Gemara is going to be medayik a little bit in the Lashon. So she'asu miktsasa means they went to a wedding. Shushvinos, they were a shushvinom, they were a groomsman, they made the chassan happy, b'chayav, and they took the check from the father, chazer shushvinos. Then when it came time to reciprocate, to the Reuven guy got married, then chazra shushvinos, chazra la'emsa, then the check goes to all the sons, not only to the guy that delivered the check, not to Reuven himself, but to all his brothers. So shushvinos nikvis bebezdin. You go to a Bezdin and say, I went to somebody's wedding, I gave him a gift, and he came to my wedding, he didn't give me back a gift. But if you send a gift, you cannot get it out of Bezdin. When you give somebody a gift, it's chesed. Remember, it's chesed. Virimini asked the Gemara, but we have a contradiction. It says in the Braiso, yeah, we're holding where it says Gemara. On Kuf Mem Daled Amud Beis. If Yaakov told Reuven, go to this wedding, make the guy happy, deliver this 1,000 shekel check, when that guy, Zvulun, when Reuven gets married, Zvulun has to return the favor and give 1,000 shekel check. Who's the 1,000 shekel go to? Chizeres Lo, it goes to Reuven. We have a contradiction. In the Mishnah it says it goes to all the brothers because it came out of the father's checkbook. And over here it says it comes back to him. So we have 3 answers for this. And the Bracha continues. If the father was the one that was the chassan, he received. If the father is the one that once upon a time received, now the father has to give back. There's a halacha that a lot of you might say, whoa. A father owes somebody money. Why does he owe somebody money? Because the father was a chassan, he received the gift. And when the guy that gave him the gift gets married, the father is going to have to return the 1,000 shekel. Are the sons responsible?
Like 50 years ago.
50 years ago. It's a chayv of the father. So here says the Rashbam, the Gemara says, Choizeres min ha'emtza, that's the Bracha why the mitzvah ala yisoymim lefroya chayvas avim. They have a mitzvah, yeah. Sometimes we said if there's real estate, so there's a real shibud to the real estate. We're not talking about a real shibud. Yes, you can take it out in Bezdin, but it's a chayv. It's out there. There's a chayv, and the children should pay it. So it says if somebody sent a gift to the father, now the father has to return the favor. The yisoymim have to pay it out of the estate when that guy gets married. So anyways, we have a contradiction. Our Mishnah says that a check that comes in doesn't go to the son that delivered it, it goes to all the brothers, and the Bracha says it goes to the son that delivered it. So we have to say that our Mishnah is actually not talking about that the father sent the check, rather the father received, and now the question is, when that guy, it's the reverse case. It's the second case of the Bracha. Once upon a time, the father received the check. Now the father owes money to a certain chassan. If he gets married, the father died and the chassan got married. So who has to pay for that chassan's wedding gift? All the Yisayimim together. That's what our Mishnah is talking about. It's to change the wording around a little bit in the Mishnah. Or, I shouldn't say the wording, the simple meaning of the Mishnah, because when you read the Mishnah, it seems like the father sent a check out, and you're telling me, no, the father is trying to receive a check now, and who? I'm sorry, the father sent the check out once upon a time, and now we're receiving a check. The Gemara is saying no. The father received the check, and now the question is, who does he have to pay? Who has to pay when the guy that received the check? Now we're saying it's all the assignment. Says the Gemara, but that's not a good pshat. Why? It says in the Mishnah they went out to be mesamech chasam. Reuven went out to a wedding. He gave a check from his father's checkbook. Tani limiktsasam. Instead of miktsasam, you have to say, let me see if I have it here. I just did it very, very simple. Sorry. It's not Yoshi. Instead of reading it miktsasam, that they went out and they were be misamech chasam v'kala. No, somebody was misamech them. Li shishvinus. They were on the receiving end. In other words, they received checks before the father died. Now they owe checks to the people that gave it to them. And the question is, where does that money come from? It comes from everybody together. The Gemara this is a technical thing, how to read it and how do you see it in the Mishnah. Don't worry about it, it's going to be over in a minute. Seems like that the check is coming to them, not that they have to take out a check. When the time comes to pay back, then all the Yisraelim have to pay. Okay, new pshat. Rabbi is a new pshat. Again, we have a contradiction. Our Mishnah says that when Reuven goes out and gives a check from his father's checkbook, when a check comes in, you have to divide it between all the Yisraelim, and the Bracha says, no, Reuven gets to keep it. Says the Gemara, yes, that's exactly how it is. Why? When the father picks one of his 10 sons, it says, Reuven, deliver the check, then Reuven gets the check back. Then he receives the check when it comes back. When the father just makes an announcement to all his sons, it says, somebody go to the wedding, deliver a check. And it happens to be that Reuven decided to go to the wedding and deliver the check. Then when the check comes in, Reuven doesn't get it because the father is being very general. And all the Yisraelim get the share. Stam, he wasn't mefarish, he didn't say who should go deliver it, so therefore all the Yisraelim get the check when it comes back in. But when his father is very specific, he said, I want you to deliver it. So that means the father wants him to receive the check back. It says before in the Bracha, when it comes back, it goes back specifically to that son Reuven. But if his father said anybody could deliver it and happens to be Reuven delivered it, then it goes back to all the assignment. And the third shot is, so let me just show you real quickly. Here's the Yavam. Okay, so it goes like this. It's very important. The chassan on the right side, he's getting married. So Reuven is going to give him a gift. Okay, here goes. Reuven gives him a gift. Now, chassan all the way on the right owes Reuven a gift if Reuven gets married. Reuven gets married, and Nebuch goes bye-bye. So his wife has to have yibum or chalitza from Shimon. Now the halacha is that Shimon inherits everything that Reuven owns. Shimon takes over, he fits into Reuven's shoes, takes over. Again, I don't want to. Avi and I and a bunch of people, we did a barbecue in an army base, and there was a chayelet there. Who I've never seen this before, never seen it after. A chayelet who looked super, super frum. She was wearing a long dress in green madim, and a tichel, and she had a M16, and whatever. We schmoozed with her, and she told us that her husband is also serving in the army, and that is Ivry Dickstein's wife. He was just killed. So we have a picture of her and the whole chayra. Kitzer, she's sitting shiva right now. Now, I don't think they have children, and this would be a case of chalitza, but I don't think he has a brother. I think Ivry, I think that's his name. He's a ben yachid, unfortunately. But here's a case, young couple, not having children, the husband dies. Shimon, if there's a brother, the brother takes over everything that that young guy has. Now, you all know the answer to this, but think for 10 seconds or 2 seconds. This sheshvinas, this gift that the chassan guy all the way on the right owes Reuven, and he comes after the levaya and he pays up a gift. Is Shimon entitled to that gift? Shimon gets everything that Reuven has. Why not? Perspective assets. It's ro'i. Anything that comes in afterwards, Shimon doesn't get, like a Bechar. And therefore, Shimon is not going. That's all. That's the halacha over here. So don't confuse it. It's not a contradiction. We're talking about our mission is talking about this case of Yibum. Just to remind the Olam perspective, not here. I should have shown you here. So the gift goes to who? Shimon and Levi. The other, it's divided between all brothers. Shimon doesn't have a special zechus over that gift. Why? Because, as we say, Ein Bechar Noitel B'Roi Kibemuchzak. Let me just show you again what Roi Kibemuchzak is. There's a father, and there's 3 brothers, and there's 4 sports cars. How many sports cars does the Bechar get? Father dies, he gets 2, and each brother gets 1. But if the father's lottery ticket wins after the Levaya, then that you split up evenly. Each brother gets 3 million nebuch, and therefore, in our case, the Shimon guy, or whatever the Yavam's name is, he does not share in, it's like a lottery ticket that comes after the funeral. But there's a major question here, Rabbi Isai. Major question. Check this out. Mr. Chassan, does he have to give a gift to Reuven? He's not around. He gives gifts at weddings. He doesn't give gifts. Stam? If Reuven gave him a gift, great. Guess what? If Reuven dies right after he gave him the gift, the Chassan doesn't have to pay back. Why does the Chassan have to give a gift in this case? Because Reuven did get married. But what about all the Shever brachas? Maybe he died. So that's what the Gemara is going to discuss here. And that's basically the sugya today. If you're available to perform, just the other party is not there to perform, do you have to pay or not? For instance, let's say a woman receives Kiddushin, and then the husband drops dead. Does she have to return the Kiddushin to the Chassan's family? She received gifts. So she could say, listen, I'm ready to get married. He didn't show up. That's his problem. Why should I give back? That's a question we're going to learn today. She could say, I want to be Misameach with the Chassan. Give me a Chassan. Nuli Bali Vesmachimoy, the top words of Daf Yomi Amud Aleph. That's question number 1. Another thing we're going to learn today is Kiddushin L'Tibuin. Do we view the ring of Kiddushin, the money of Kiddushin, as sinking, lost forever? Once you give it to a woman, you'll never see it again, ever. You give her a $50,000 ring, that moment you give it to her, you'll never see it again. I don't care what happens. She could run away, you could run away. She could die, you could die. It doesn't matter, you're never getting it back. That's a concept called Kiddushin L'Tibuin. That's another concept.
And may God bless the family and the new widow. Oh, by the way, you need to return the ring you received.
Are you sure?
And finally, we're going to see about gifts. Chassan and Kalas, today we give gifts, watches, leichters, machzorim, shasin, this. A guy in this neighborhood, a terrible thing. This kid got married, and right afterwards, a few weeks later, whatever, divorced. So he came to me and says, listen, the Chassan gave me back whatever set of svarim I gave him. Do you have something, could you buy it off me or something like that? I said, of course, I need a svarim here. I bought it off him. It's here in this basement right now. But don't look around. Look, it's an ebach. People have it. Mendy was telling me about how many rings come back. Well, now in our generation, it's Narivayim. It's like every 2 weeks you hear another story. Used to be there's one kid in the whole school that the parents get divorced. Today it's like there's one kid in the whole school the parents didn't get divorced. It's like Narivayim. So what do you do with the ring? It's a thing every time. It's expensive, $10,000. Now the ring afterwards, you're going to give it back to the soicher. He's going to give you half the money. What do you do? Who deserves it? Not deserves it. So listen, if they're already married, it's a whole different child. You have to go speak to your We're talking about before the marriage. But it's not so posh because in the time of the Gemara, it was like marriage. Erusin is marriage. It's like it's a big step. You need a divorce. So that's today's sugya. Says the Gemara. The Yavam guy, Mr. Shimon over here, he does not receive the gift. He has to split it with his brother because it's roy. It's prospective assets. I like the way they said it. So what? The chassan has to pay the gift? Leima, let him say it. Give me a chassan, I'll dance for 7 days, then we'll talk about a gift. Why should I pay up a gift today? So that's a big question. Didn't we learn in a place that a kala gives back the kiddushin money, you should give it back if that's the minute. Yosef, this Amud has a lot of, it's the same, it's like a lot of words, don't get nervous. It's these concepts that we just spoke about. The minute to give it back, not the minute to give it back. Does it get lost forever? Not. If she's the cause of the problem, then there's a shaila, is there a minig, not a minig. If he's the cause of the problem, he's backing out of the shidduch, or he died, ein machzirin, you don't have to give back the ring. My taima, yichayli, shitaymar, daf kuf mem hey Amud Aleph, nuli bali ves machimon. Give me a husband, I'm ready to perform, I'm ready to be a kala. He disappeared on me, why should I suffer? Why can we use the same logic where Mr. Chassan guy, all the way on the right, says to everybody, it's not my fault that Reuven died. If you could bring me a Reuven, I'll be happy to, it'll be my greatest pleasure to come to his wedding and dance with him and give him a gift. But he's gone. I'm not mechuyev to give gifts to the family of somebody that gave me a gift and there wasn't even a wedding. I want to eat a meal. I want to have a simcha. We're going to see. You wouldn't believe on Amud Beis. If somebody made a very weak wedding in Corona wedding, 10, 15 people, he was one of the guests. And he gave a gift. Now, when he got married, he made a fancy wedding. The guy that received the gift at the Corona wedding could say, no, I'm not giving you a gift. Your wedding is too nice for me. The reverse, of course, he could say. You went to a beautiful wedding? No. So fakert. You went to a beautiful wedding, and then you come to a smaller wedding. He said, that we all understand. Listen, the reason why I gave you 1,000 shekels because it was a great meal. It's beautiful, a 10-piece band, the whole thing. Singers from this, flowers from Holland. Now you're making me a little wedding in your basement. I'm going to give you the same gift? No, that we understand. But the reverse, even if the wedding is nicer, no, it has to be the same level as me. So Mela, that we understand has to be the same level. So certainly if there's no wedding at all, asked the Gemara, why should I give a gift? No, there was a wedding. There was Sheva Brachas. He was there at every single Sheva Brachas. He made it lebedik. So now he owes him a gift because he was there for the Chassan, he was there for the Sheva Brachas. But there was no, he wasn't able to give him the gift. So now who does he give the gift to? He's ready to deliver a gift. The Chassan died, so now he has to give it to the brothers. Now we understand. By the way, I saw with my own eyes, because I never saw this, but in middle shir, they started showing me. I said this. People are sending invitations today with the bit information, with their bank account information in the invitation. By the way, here's my bank account information, and just deposit your deposits here. Registries, we know, like, okay, you can go on Amazon, this is what I like, Without any busha, here's my bank account. Mamish, they showed it to me. I said, I heard about it. What did I heard about it? I just got an invitation yesterday. The guy pulls out his phone, gives it to me. Magai said, yeah, okay, Ayin Sham. Says Gemara, it's a very interesting question. I'm available here. It's not my fault that this guy died. Why should I give back gifts? So it's a machlokes. The Sari Hamar says the Isha, person got engaged, but in the time of the Gemara, engaged, it's with a ring. Psula goyva masayim, v'almana mana. They say don't bring any rice from here. It's a big machlokes whether or not an engaged woman gets a ksuba. Let's just say that this was a deal that he made. If something happens, if we break the engagement, I'm giving you a ksuba. So in a place. So first of all, she gets a ksuba 200. What about the ring? If the minig is to give it back, you give it back. Reb Nosson says you don't give it back. Somebody made a diuk, Talmid Chacham, I don't even know his name. He said, not every time do you see when they talk about Rabbi Yehuda, do they call him Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. They call him Rebbe, they call him this, Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Why Rabbi Yehuda Nasi? So he said very nicely that every time in Shas that says Rabbi Nosson next to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, it says Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Why? Because Rabbi Nosson tried to take away his Nasius once. So the Gemara, it's just somebody that knows Shas. No, this is a story. He sent me where it says Rabbi Nosson. Okay, but I'm saying another place. So it says Rabbi Nosson Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, to show, no, he's the Nasi, not you. Now listen to this. We just said, Rabbi Yehuda says that it goes by the minhag. What does Rabbi Nassim say? That it goes by the minhag. So they're saying the exact same thing. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, Hainu Tanakama. Alav, we must say l'chayra, and of course, as every time, this is the typical style in the Gemara. Perhaps they're arguing about our argument about, could I say, Tnuli Bali Vesmachimoy? Give me my husband and I'll be happy with him, but unfortunately he's not around. The Gemara is going to say, no, it's a different machlokes. So what? What's the machlokes? Tnuli Bali Vesmachimoy, Ikibenai, that's the machlokes. We just have to understand the machlokes like this. Hamar says Isha, if you get engaged, you get a ksuba. She gets a ksuba. But what is it talking about? The he's the one that took back the shidduch. But if she died, so then if she died, it goes by the minhag. But only because she died. Who? Says the Tanakama, if he dies, no. Why? Here, Tanakama says, this concept, I'm ready to be a kala. You want to back out, you pay me. And he argues, says, we don't say that concept. It doesn't matter who dies. Goes by the minhag. There is no concept called Tnuli Bali Vesmachim. I'm ready. It doesn't matter if you're ready. The shidduch didn't work out, give back the money if that's the minhag in the place. So l'chayr, you see, we have this machlokes of Tanaim. Do we say Tnuli Bali Vesmachim? Says the Gemara, no. It's another machlokes that we never knew about. Perhaps you could say that's not the machlokes. Maybe it's something else. Maybe everybody agrees that you could say such a thing. I'm ready to be a kala. I want my money. And if he dies, everybody agrees that she's ready to be a kala. She gets the money. You could say such a thing. Even in the case, even if she dies, she gets to keep the kedushin. Perhaps that's the machlokes. Why? In Hebrew, lidba means to drown. Does the money of kedushin drown? In other words, you give a woman a ring, say goodbye to it forever and ever. The logic is very simple. If there's a case where a person gives a kala a ring and he could get it back, it could bring to big problems. People will say there was never an engagement. Look, he gave back the ring. That means it was a mistake. And then he might go and marry her sister. I don't know what's going to happen. Some issues with the sister. So we make a gzeira. Once you give a ring, end the story. You'll never see it again. It's a side gzeira kind of thing. Does it drown? It didn't drown. You can get your ring back. You'll never get your ring back. As the Gemara, but doesn't fit in so much to the Lashon, it says, how's there a minhag to give it back if the ring drowned and we're making a gzeira that you can never give it back? What do you mean? There's a minhag to give it back. It's against the gzeira. Oh, so now we're going to a third thing that we never discussed. What about gifts? What do they give today? Esrog box? That's what they give? Halavai. That would have been nice. A menorah. I got a menorah after. Yeah, you're right. I got a menorah from a shver. Did I? We were supposed to get a menorah. No, we never got a menorah. No, I'm saying watch. Shas, it's the same stuff that we got back in the day. 30 years ago, nothing changed. Less. Okay, less is good. We're trying to go down on the expenses. That's what I did.
The big one.
That's what I did. I did that 30 years ago. I told my father-in-law I want an art school shas. He looked at me, what do you, like you no, he didn't say.
Son-in-law asked for a leather-covered Masifta.
Yeah, my son-in-law got a Masifta. That's right.
Leather-covered, yeah, I remember.
No, he didn't get a leather-covered. He got a full Masifta. That's 172 giant value. Here we have a Masifta over here. All that's what he got. No, you have to give something that you're going to use. Who uses those big giant? Besides, there's a guy in the car that schleps his big giant Shas Gemara, Naftali Richel's son-in-law. So you got to be practical.
Zevi got a guitar.
What?
Zevi got a guitar.
Umbrellas.
That is Meshuggah. Zevi got a guitar.
He doesn't want a watch.
He said he wants a guitar?
Instead of a watch, give him a guitar.
That's so interesting. Wow. Okay, listen, gotta be practical. Huh?
The MP Shas that you people to get, it's 50, you can buy it $50 now.
The what? The MP?
Buy those MP, the big ones, so you used to get the yellow cover.
Oh, the yellow payment. You forget about it? $50 for the whole shas? That's what people should give for their chasa now. We're trying to save money here. Give them the one with the yellow covers. The red binding, fat. Each page was this thick, but the words didn't look very good. Oh, that's what he has. You can't read it. The words are no. Yeah.
Cream paper.
Yeah. Zog the Gemara. Oh, sorry. When it comes to gifts, certainly when it comes to gifts, you get a leichter and the couple never got married, whatever. There's minhagim, and a lot of people give stuff back. Says the Gemara, there's another machlokes tanaim similar. The sanyo kitcha bekikar. If somebody gave a giant loaf of silver, what do you call it? A bar. Thank you. A bar is silver. A bar, because a kikar is a bread. So I said loaf. Besula goyva masayim v'almanamana. Divri meir. In addition to the bar of silver, I don't know how much is a bar of silver today. $10,000. Let's just throw out a number. How much is it? Gold. So a bar of silver. In addition to that, you have to give the $3,000-$4,000 of ksuba. That's one shita. You chop the bar. You take a big chunk out of it. You take $3,000 off of it, and 3/4 of it you give back. Here, take the rest back. Rabbi Yosi Omer kitcha be'esrim noisim lo shloishim chatzayim. We have a beautiful chart to explain this. But let's first, before we get to it, we're going to get back to this. The Gemara is going to repeat it again, so we'll do it over there. But what is going on here? We have a ksuba going on here. Why is she deserving of this ksuba? She died. Once she dies, there's no ksuba. If the husband dies, she gets a ksuba. If she dies, you're not giving her a ksuba. So the husband died. Why should she give back any of the bar of silver? Why not? Because of the svara that we're saying all the entire time. By the way, this is Gad on Amud Beis. So, shmak. Let's get there. She's ready to be married. So why should she give back any bar of silver? Oh, so we must say, she was over on Ish, and therefore she has to give back the bar. If she did it willingly, misla ksuba, she doesn't get anything. We punish her, she doesn't get a ksuba. It was against her will. Mr. Shariale, she doesn't have to get divorced. If the husband doesn't want her and he wants to divorce her, that's his problem. He has to give the whole full ksuba. But halachically, she's allowed to stay married. Vela, we have to come to the case where she's not halachically stay married, which is Vela Beish's Koyin Shenenza. Not willingly, Nebach, she was married to Koyin, they must get divorced. But this is the question, whether or not the ring stays with her forever, the ring drowned, in other words, he'll never get it back. So it's the same machlokes like we had before. Do we say that the ring is gone forever? Remeir says yes. Therefore, she gets her ring and she gets a ksuba. Not true. You don't. The ring is not locked in forever. Comes Rabbi Yosi and says, I don't know if the passing like Remeir or Rabbi Yehuda. So it's a suffix. What happens when you have a ring that's in a suffix? What do? Yachlaiku. Oh, sumchos. Therefore, the Kiddushin part, only the Kiddushin, we divide in half. Be'esrim, kitcha vilkach, kitcha be'esrim noisin l'shloishim chatzayim, kitcha be'shloishim noisin l'esrim chatzayim. So we have two cases here, where the money of the Kiddushin is 20, and the money of Kiddushin is 30. So it goes very simple. Here we go, Rabbi Yosef. Very, very simple. Do the math together with me. This is even Panovich could understand this. Kesef Kiddushin was 20. 20 times 4 equals 80 zuz. We're talking about zuz now, so forget about, we're not doing any math. 80 zuz was the Kiddushin. So she's holding on. Right now she has 80 zuz in her hand. She's a divorcee, so her ksuba, we're talking about a case where the ksuba is only 100. So total, 100. She deserves really 180. But the thing is that the Kesef Kiddushin, we said, according to Rabbi Yosef, we don't know if that looks like Rabbi Yehuda. So what do? Divide in half. So her Kiddushin money is only 40, not 80. So how much does she deserve? 140. And how much does she have in her hand? 80. So how much does he owe her? 60. So it goes like this. Total, we have 180. That's how much she's owed. Kiddushin and Ksuba. The problem is that she has to give back her husband 40 because this is Suffolk. So in Mela, the total is 140. How much does she have in her hand? 80. So how much does he have to add? He has to add 60. And the story and the total will be 140. So that's why the Gemara says, Be'esrim, noisim lo shloishim chatzoim. He has to give her 30 halves, 60 zuz. Now let's just do the next case real quickly. The Kesef Kiddushin is 120. How much of that does she get really? Because we have a suffix, 60. The Ksub is 100. So total 120 plus 100 equals 220. She has to give back 60 because the 120 is a suffix. She gives back 60. Mela, we have a 160 thing. She deserves 160, but she already has in her hand 120. So how much does he owe her? 40. Shkoyach. 40 or 40, not 160. Gival. Many times the minig is to give back Kiddushin and give it back. This is talking about in one place in the entire Bavel called Narda. As Gemara Shar Bavel, what about the rest of Bavel? Hadri. If it's a Moyare, which is a gift, Hadri. Kiddushin Hadri. Says the Rashbam, by the way, the word Moyare and Sivloinus that we had before are two different words. They both refer to gifts, but Moyare is stronger. Moyare is something that's inside the Ksuba, like Svardim. Talking about Svardim again. Svardim in the Ksuba, they say, we'll give you extra gifts. The actual Ksuba amount is $3,000. We promise $50,000 if we get divorced. Different gifts, but that's already part of the Ksuba. Gifts that come with the Ksuba, that are written in the Ksuba. Omar Papa, Hilchasa ben Shemei Su ben Shemei Sehi v'Adar Behu. It doesn't matter if she dies, he dies, or he takes it back. Mayare Hadri. The gifts that are in the Ksuba, you return them. Kiddushei Hadri, as we said, the Gemara is going to explain here, the ring that we call Kesef Kiddushin doesn't go back. Hadri Be'i, but if she took it back, I feel the Kiddushin Nami Hadri, then even the Kiddushin goes back. Ameimar Omar Kiddushin Lo Hadri, this is how we pass on halacha. So if you notice before, Mayare, the line before says Mayare Hadri, that's the halacha. Gifts go back. And here the halacha is also Kiddushin Hadri. Why? We want to make sure that nobody has any confusion here. She was once upon a time engaged. They broke the engagement, but the engagement was a good engagement. Therefore, you can never marry your sister. Rabashi Omar, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to be confused. Make her give back the ring, and everybody knows she's the divorcee. Says Gemara, Ravashi Bedusahi, Berusahi. It's a joke. It's a mistake. It's not true. Xer is Xera. People might not know. They see that she came back to the store, returned the ring. That means there's never Kiddushin. The fact that you know that there's a get, you know. Not everybody knows they're divorced. Oh, so here goes. We're going to a lighter Gemara. You go to a wedding and give a gift. You get married. You could sue in Bezdin to get a gift. There's 5 halachas. First of all, Nikvis bebezdin, you go to Bezdin. When is the chayv chal? When do you owe another gift? Only when the giver of the gift gets married. Before that, there's no lien or anything. If you decide to go to the wedding and add to it, he gave you 1,000 shekel. You want to be large and give him 2,000? That's okay. It's ribbis. You took a loan and you just paid more. Shalom Aleichem, by the way. What's your name? Shalom Aleichem? Yehuda Itzkowitz. From?
My brother.
No way. Your Rabbi Yitzkowitz's brother. You're the younger brother. Very good. We love Rabbi Yitzkowitz. So why is he not sitting next to you, Rabbi Yitzkowitz? It's an Alta Maisa. Favorite places. Gewaldig. Says Gemara. So, we know that when Shemitah comes, there's a loan, the loan is erased. So Rabbi said, think for a second, how come the loan is not erased over here? You went to somebody's wedding, gave him $1,000. Now he owes you $1,000 if you get married. How come when Shemitah comes, it doesn't erase it? Huh?
It's not a real loan.
It's not a real loan, but you owe. I could go to Bezin and demand it. What do you say? Oh, because you can't claim it yet. So therefore, what? So we have to say it in the pasuk. It says like this. The Gemara is going to say in a second. So let's wait for the Gemara to get there. And a Bechor doesn't take two parts in it. Why? Because we said already, it's... What was the word? Perspective. It's not in his hands. Nigbis bebezin, the Gemara goes through each one. Why could you claim it in Bezdin? My time kimil v'dami. It's like a loan. Oh, if it's like a loan, how come there's no ribbis? Maybe mishum ribbis. Why are you giving extra? Says the Rashbam. If he wants, he could just match it. So why do you give extra? Because he's happy, he's in a good mood, not because he owes him more. There's no upmach. They didn't make up beforehand. Oh, I'm going to give you 1,000. You're going to pay me back when I get married 1,200. That's ribbis. No, here's 1,000. When I get married, you pay back 1,000.
It looks like ribbis.
I know.
Doesn't matter.
But we know. Everybody understands. Everybody knows that you went to a wedding, you gave more. It's not ribbis. You had a great time.
Ribbis is so. Everything you do is ribbis.
Yeah, but we
That's
saw
not ribbis.
no.
It looks like ribbis.
We had the other day. A person gets a loan. There's certain things that are not ribbis. We had a guy had a loan, and at this. Not less. It can't be less. I know. Poiches. I believe. I also saw that. I think it means poiches from what he gave. Less, I don't think you can give.
Pay back less. So that's not ribbis.
I don't know if you can pay back less. I'm not sure.
If you can pay back less.
I wasn't sure if you can pay back less. That we'll see later. Fine. That's in a second. You guys. How come when Shemitah comes, it doesn't erase the chayv? Because the Torah says, "Lo yigos Yisrael." Lo yigos means don't press him. And like Rebbe Yitzi said, you're not pressing the guy now. You can't press him to pay until you get married. Oh, but you're not married yet. Only when you get married, you can go to Bezin. But before you get married, there's no pressing. So if no pressing, there's no Shemitah. Shemitah only gets rid of things that are pressing. For instance, like he just said, if there's a loan for 10 years, so when Shemitah comes, you're not pressing at this Shemitah. So this Shemitah is not going to erase it. It's the following Shemitah that's going to erase it. It's perspective. And a Bechor doesn't take two parts in Roy. Here's the sponsors. Correcto. Thank you. Turning of the Daf. Berkovici family, zechus klal Yisrael, and Glenn Esterson, dedicated to Gilad Jacob Israel. Thank you for bringing the Daf into my life. Baruch Hashem. So here's the rule of Shishvinus. Have if you're in the city, all these things, how come you didn't invite me and this and that? Are you allowed to be upset? This is the Gemara right here. If you're in the city, why didn't you show up to the wedding? You heard the bells ringing that there's a wedding. You should have came. And if you didn't hear the bells, the chassan should have notified you. So what happens if the chassan should have notified you and he didn't notify you? He didn't send you. It happens. Every simcha that I did so far, I forgot somebody super important. Every one. I don't know if it's just me, but I cannot believe I forgot that guy. He's like, he's not on the list, and you went through everything, you tried, and then what do you do? And he's brightest. You're asking to me? It happened to you too? It happens. Nebuch, it happens. And why me? Why did you forget me? I thought I'm your best friend. It happens to the best friends. As I is. Taroimus Islam. You could be upset, the Gemara says. Be upset up to a point, but that doesn't get you out of your obligation. You still owe the money for the chasana. Shalom and Mishalom. Pay up. Be upset, but pay. Vatama, Omer Abayo, Noagu b'nei Gnana. The chassan's friends, they said, Ad zuzah aisi b'kape, achle b'kreise. You bring a zuz, you eat a zuz. In other words, you have to pay for your meal. The average meal is one zuz. Doesn't seem like a lot of money. Actually, a whole ksub is 200 zuz, so maybe it's not. It's pretty nice money. You come, you eat a meal of a zuz, pay a zuz. Ad arba mishal palga. You get a nice meal, a four meal, so you pay half. Every person would get. It's a very interesting way they used to work. You're a cool guy. You come to the wedding, they start serving you more than other people. And you got to pay up based on that. There's a, I don't want to say this here, some guy yelled at yesterday, there's a certain type of group of people, let's just say, like Gruzinim, let's just say, that's the thing. So they announced at the wedding, Pliny gave 500 shekel to the chassan. Like at a shul, they put the peer pressure on. Almoini gave 1,000 shekel. And they go through the whole list. They put you on the spot. That's another way. Some people put it in the invitation, here's my bit. And some people, they call you out at a wedding. Now the guys from America are going to say it's not true. In our community, we don't do that. I believe it. Every community with their minhagim. No, I'm serious. I could just see the Rosh Hashiva, you got a tremendous double portion and double dessert. Pay up. That's what it says here. They serve you differently. As you're chashiv, as chashiv as you are, when you go to a wedding, you want to be the least chashiv you can be. You come in, no yamim, please, not. It's going to cost you big time. You get yamim, you have to pay double. Azay is. Tana Rabbanan. Also, you might be pumbi. Why is he laughing? You have what I'm saying? Yeah. I told you, I saw with my own eyes. I saw, it costs you. You get that song, it costs you. I'll say this myself, but just to understand, I saw with my own eyes. A younger Rebbe came with the whole fur thing, and he had a gabe next to him. I see the schmoozing by the door. So I said, oh, this is going to be good. I see the guy go, he goes straight to the band, so I followed. He says, the Rebbe the krach from Harnov. So the guy says, I'm sorry. He says, no, he's coming in. You got to do yomim. The guy says, no. So he runs back to him. I'm saying, I saw this. He's schmoozing back, forth. How should he do it? He comes back to the band. He says, but he's coming in. It's mamash bezoyin for the Rebbe. The guy says, I don't know who he is. I'm sorry, I can't. I just did it for... Reb Shmuel Auerbach was at the wedding. They did a whole thing for him 5 minutes before. He wouldn't come in, and finally he came in, and there's no yom. It was very sad. So I'm thinking, in the Gemara's time, is the opposite. The guy comes in, he says, don't you dare play yomim. Don't you dare. He's not big. The guy says, no, I have to play yomim. So he goes back. And then the Rebbe says, but tell him I'm just a small time. I have a small minion. He goes back to that. The band says, no, we're playing. It's a whole different story.
The Rebbe not wearing his package.
You got to take it off. So the Rebbe, he takes out of his suitcase the other type of package. He folds up the fur, puts on the regular one. Then he walks in. Kids it. Also, he might be pumbe because last is in Vitzina.
Next time Rebelli comes in.
They don't play. They know not to. No, I told you what they play. It's geschmack to do this. Every chassan, I don't know why. Every chassan I go to, they're playing the same song every time I walk. Also, you might be pumbe because last is in Vitzina. A guy comes in, he made a beautiful big wedding. With mamish in our generation, we'll talk about it in 40 years. There was a time when everybody didn't go to chasas, 10 people and the chasas in the backyard, and we didn't go to minyan, and for a whole year, Pesach. We're going to talk about it. It's not, we went through trauma, Rabbi Isaac, but we all went through the trauma, so we can't even brag about it. So, if you made a giant big wedding, and you're trying to make some nice little chasana in the backyard, obviously you could tell him, if you want, I'll give you back a gift if you make a beautiful wedding. Well, I'm not going to do a shvacha wedding with a one-piece band and that. I had a whole thing, 45-piece band. So this is one for one, whether you understand it or not. He got married to a psula. And now, the guy that wants the favor returned, he's marrying an almana. It's a smaller type of wedding. It's a little toned down. It's not like the first time marriage. He went to him, was a second wedding. Now, this is a chiddush. He's coming back and he says, look, I'm getting married for the first time. If it's your second wedding, then I'll come. Then I'll give you a gift. This is crazy. Don't tell your wife about this one. This guy's mamish stingy. He's marrying 2 women, but he figures, might as well just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They both walk around him by the chuppah. They both hate each other. It's mamish. It's a Noyavayim story. But listen, I'm not giving you a gift. It has to match. The wedding, my wedding, your wedding have to match. If you get married again for the third time to one woman, then we'll talk. A little bit of agat there. Good, so we're catching up. A guy that's very wealthy with, he has a lot of belongings, atir pumbi. This is more like he has a lot of animals. So nowadays it would be cars. He has beautiful cars. Everybody knows that he's a wealthy guy. Zeu bal agodos. This is like Remelech Biderman of our generation, a guy that he goes and he gives drushes everywhere and it just comes out, it's beautiful stories. Everybody sees him, he's berabim. Atir silin atir tekaya, a guy that's constantly doing business, every day he changes money, he sells special oil. Zeu bal pilpul. Every day he comes up with a new chidduch, great. Atir meshach, atir kimas. His parnassa is more hidden. He has gold that's hidden. Kimas is hidden. Meshach, it's measured. He only has a certain amount. Zeu bal shmois. That's a guy that repeats over things that he heard. Hakol tzrichim lemori chitaya. Everybody needs the one who sells wheat. That is Gemara. Gemara is something that explains everything, and everybody needs that. Omer Reb Zera, Omer Rav, Maidach Siv, Kol Yemei Ani Roim. All the life of a pauper is bad. Ze Bal Talmud. That's a person who learns Gemara. So very, very interesting Rashbam here. Where is it? I don't even know where it is. Oh, check this out. Ze Bal Gemara, says the Rashbam. Shemeimis atzmoi. He kills himself. L'chaven halachos of Taras Avayos. A person that learns Torah Gemara, it's hard to understand. Kol yemei ani roim, it's bad. He's an amal b'Torah. To be amal b'Torah takes a tremendous amount of energy, and the Gemara calls it roim. B'toiv leiv mishte tamid. Which sefer ends with this pasuk? Shulchan Aruch. Hilchas Purim, the Ramah. V'toiv leiv mishte tamid. Zeh ba'al mishnah. Oh, he's always good. He's always happy. He learns mishnah. It's geschmack. Rav Amar Yibchad, it's the opposite. Vaynu Amar Rav, Misharshi, Mishmei the Rava. Ma'idach Siv, Masiya avonim yotzebem. A person who cuts stones, he'll be sad with it. But him when he chops wood, you suck him bum. The opposite, he'll be warmed up by it. Masiya avonim yotzebem elu bali mishnah. You learn mishnayis, you don't come up with any maskanas. You have a lot of contradictions you don't know. But people that learn Gemara, elu bali talmud, you'll warm yourself up with the Gemara. Let's finish over here. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.